title, the World Championship.
He's got it, great shot.
And hits the jack and changes everything dramatically.
Cracking ball.
She's got the weight, she's got the line.
Here.
He's hit it. She has won the gold medal in a pulsating final.
Welcome once again, and this is exactly why millions of tourists flock every year to the fabulous Gold Coast. 70 kilometres of beaches, 21 beaches, 4 brilliant point breaks. They are world famous, and that has lured the best bowlers in the world. We're on day 2 of finals for the World Bowls Championship, and that is our venue. As we look at it from our drone shot, it's Club Helensvale at the northern tip of the Gold Coast. Barry Lester joining me again, one of Australia's most decorated bowlers. Barry, we saw a wonderful day yesterday, but it was fairly tough condition, wasn't it? Because the sun was shining and the breeze was up.
Yeah, today it's a little bit different than that, Pat. Yeah, we've seen a lot of clouds so far, not so much breeze, so it's really nice conditions out here. It's very quiet, but I'm sure the crowds will build, but it was a great start yesterday. Let's
have a look at what is in store for us today on our telecast. We've got the Para Men's Final. This has been a wonderful innovation for these world titles, and I know we haven't had championships for 7 years because of COVID, but para events have been incorporated here, and it's been a wonderful success again, hasn't it?
Yeah, lawn bowls is definitely one of the most inclusive sports in the world, and you'll see that today when watching this action. James Reynolds has been on the Australian international scene for so many years, and Damien Delgado just fell short in Birmingham last year. They'll be looking to go one better today.
I've had a chat to our South African team. I tell you, they've been around for a long time too, both of them over 20 years of experience. Now, our graphic tells us that the breeze is just down a little. We had the sou'easters in, and they were in strong yesterday morning.
Yeah, they sure were. It fluked around a little bit. It started southeast and came in from the north, and then today, when you look at it, it's hardly a breath. So if it can stay like that and the cloud can stay around, I wouldn't see the green getting too much faster than what it is now.
As you would expect when we get to a final, both these teams are coming in hot. They're in very, very good form, both Australia and South Africa. Let's have a look at their buyers. As you said, James Reynolds has been around for an age, and I tell you, this would just about be the crowning glory of a wonderful career.
Yeah, and Gareth and Deon, they've spent some time in Australia previously, so they're familiar with the greens, and you can see they've got a really large support crew around them, which helps a lot. You'll hear a lot of yelling and screaming from the sidelines, which you saw yesterday, and these players are going to need that to feel right at home. But Damien and James, well experienced as well, and as I mentioned, Damien will want to go one further than he did last year.
Just before the women's fours final yesterday morning, we were given a wonderful and rare insight. Just a little bit of team tactics talk before the final. That's exactly what's happened again today.
Yeah, with the overcast, it's going to be pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Casale's about 15 with her already, so...
Yeah, we got the good landing from yesterday, big hands, both sides. We know that there's going to be a change in pace as the time goes on. And yeah, just keep an eye on the flags. It's nice at the moment in terms of the wind.
Yeah, we don't much breeze at all, actually.
Yeah, if the wind stays down, it'll be good.
Yeah.
Good go.
Yeah.
You know, well, stick to the plan.
That's it.
We know what our go-to is.
Yeah. Get close.
Do your thing, the way you normally do it.
Cool.
Thanks, man.
Thanks,
I need you to do it.
Yeah. Conditions are good today.
Conditions are good, yeah. There's a little bit of a cloud cover, so it might change maybe a bit of the speed, but we'll expect the fastest.
Yeah, I think still the slicker green compared to what we used to, but we'll adjust within the trial ends and get it all in one piece.
Excellent.
That's great.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's it, buddy.
Yeah, really good insight there from both teams. Talking about the conditions mainly, but one of the key parts of this green I'm noticing is the wide draw. So both hands drawing around 6 or 7 feet wide, and we saw from the South African coach there. And back to you guys up at the commentary box.
Here we go. This is going to be a fantastic match, no doubt about it. Both teams coming through the qualifying rounds undefeated, and so both in very good form.
The voice of Clive Adams. I've just made the mad dash. I'm still puffing.
Well made. Well done. Settle in for this one because this is going to be brilliant. I think the conditions are just perfect for a great game. As you guys just mentioned, not a lot of wind out there this morning. A nicely paced green that's going to allow all the shots to be played.
Now let's quickly get into the rules and regs, I suppose, around what happens today in this pairs, how many ends, how many bowls each, etc.
Yep, so great starter there from Damien, but yeah, so it's a 3 bowl pairs format and 15 ends. So all of the para disciplines through the tournament are 15 ends, and we'll run through a couple of the score lines coming into this match, because it's fair to say the South Africans have been involved in a few more close ones throughout than perhaps the Australian team that's made their way through a little bit more convincingly in a sense, but you've only got to win. You win, you get the gold.
Exactly right. Yeah, the Australians blazed away against Singapore, didn't they, in the semi-final? Won at 23-2.
Yeah, and that was on the back of great starter there for Deon. Just looking to settle in nice and early. Can't do any better than a toucher with your first bowl. No, that big win was on the back of 4 decent victories as well in the qualifying rounds for Australia. They really just extended margins throughout the tournament, a 17-11 in their first match, and then double-figure victories for the rest. So it shows that they can definitely crowd bowls around the jack. For the South Africans, just a 3-shot win in their semi-final. Wow, just missed. You can hear the crowd riding that one already.
What about this quality?
Yes,
at this hour of the morning?
Not going to take long.
People are just waking up on Father's Day.
Yeah. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Exactly right.
And just summing those margins up, South Africa, 4-shot win, 1 shot, 4 shots, 5 shots and 8 shots in each of their qualifying round matches. So closer matches, that might stand them in really great stead for when the pressure goes on.
I think we both agreed that the Australian pair would come in as favourites for this, simply because of their international experience.
Very similar, mate.
Yeah, there's probably more of a history of been there, done that for the Australian team, but certainly I was interested in the team talks to hear South Africa say, well, let's just go in expecting the quicker green.
Yep.
And then we'll just adjust to what happens from there, because the quickest green would be the most unfamiliar conditions for them. So if they go in feeling that that's going to be the way, look at this. Well, a little snick of the jack. Would have loved just a little bit more. It'll still be 1 to the South Africans, but 3 great opening bowls from Damo. I think you'll see the personalities of these players shine through in this match as well. Damo's a character, there's no doubt about it. Loves a good laugh. What can Deon do with his last attempt here? It's going to need this to get down. It's going to just find its way to the ditch. So, still, 1 shot it is, courtesy of Deon van der Vyver. There's the Australian team cheering on. Victorious triples team in there from yesterday afternoon's match.
Very carefully constructed, these chairs as well. I know in the case of Damien, his first ever chair that he used bowling took almost 5 months to construct.
Yeah, some of the players refer to the chair that they have to use as like driving a bit of a tractor at times, because they're not the same chair as they use off the green in most cases. Wider tyres so that they don't do damage to the green, and the athletes themselves get used to how to handle themselves in the chair, because the athletes are used to being very nimble in their everyday life chair.
Yeah.
They have to adjust that a little bit for being on the bowling green.
Has Gareth Rees-Gibbs, the insurance broker.
I got a real sense of confidence talking to them this morning. They're quite relaxed. Not far away here. We'll need it to pull up now. He might get a little land here on the Australian bowl. It does. All players using Hanselite XGs. Should see a fairly similar line from most of the bowls.
And if you're joining us for the first time, it makes it pretty easy. The Australians with the red bowls, and our visitors from South Africa with the blue.
Yeah, wonderful innovation in the sport.
Get a piece of it, Jimmy.
Little piece of the jack, perhaps? Not quite. Well, perhaps brings it to a measure, favouring South Africa.
Sounds good. Close for shot, mate.
There you go, as confirmed by Damien. Close for shot.
Good measure, mate. Measure again? Yeah, between yours and that one there. Not that fast. Oh, you're that far past.
Tough one to call. Jimmy will look to get to this jack. A little nudge of the jack could make even 3 if he nudges it to the right spot. Just any sort of movement would be perfect. This guy is an absolute superstar on the bowling green. There's no doubt about it.
He likes the look of it.
He's up, mate.
Just going to run past. Line was perfect for what he was after. And now Gareth with the last attempt for this end. Just a slight correction to make on his previous. Line looks okay. And that will, well, that's going to be close as well. I perhaps favour that might have grabbed shot.
Well, you are the wizard here. What do you say?
Yeah,
I
think that one, well, it's definitely one. I think they'll measure for the second one. I think the last bowl of Gareth will be the shot. Well, they're leaving it in there, so they're going to measure all of them. So they'll get a good angle here. Look at this angle we've got. Good look at this measure. So I think this first bowl will be just confirmed as the shot. Yeah, and this one will be very close.
So the first of 15 ends, fair to say, Clyde, high quality.
Yeah, great start. Great start. Settling in for the players. Yeah, just the one.
1-0 to blue. And the blue, of course, is South Africa. We've got so many great sponsors this week for the, well, over the fortnight. Now, one of them, Geeks to You. For technology setups, repairs, and everything in between, you need a geek.
Yes.
Visit geeks2u.com.au and book tech support today. I certainly need a geek. I can tell you my IT skills are negligible. Absolutely negligible. Hey, big day for the Aussies here because they've got so many of their family that are, you know, they travel like the rest of the bowls community all over the world when they're at this level. But I was talking to Jimmy. He's got his wife Nicole is here, mum and dad, Pam and Mike, and his aunt Sue. They're all in the crowd today.
Yeah, you won't find any more passionate a supporter, I tell you, than that family. They love it, and they get out there and they support. So it's fantastic. And, you know, in these big moments of these athletes' careers, that their support crew get the opportunity to be right alongside them.
So for the Proteas, Deon van der Vyver from East London. And he said, that is in South Africa. And I said, I know, I'm a cricket follower. I know the Aussies play in East London, etc.
Yes. So nice line there with the first there from Deon. As more of our Aussie team cheering on their teammates and having a bit of fun at the same time. Yeah, if you have a look at the chair as Damo's bowling, you can see those soft front tyres at the front, and the wider tyres on the back of the chair, all designed to pass across the green without doing any damage. And
just a little bit of general chat around the clubhouse as we were making our way to work today that they got wickedly fast yesterday, didn't they? And it was because of the breeze, and we mentioned that right the way through the telecast. That sou'easter was in, and we didn't have anywhere near as much cloud cover. It was really clear skies overhead yesterday, so we had a beating sun.
Yeah, very, very dry conditions, and that just allowed the green just to bake. And, yeah, this green, when it does get up to that sort of pace, it's very, very hard to nail the jack, and the players we saw did a fantastic job. I mean, we saw varying lengths, we saw tactics come right in, and perhaps on that fast green, those tactics were never more important than in those moments.
We had a couple on yesterday. We had the women's fours, obviously, to kick us off. But overall, let's have a look at how yesterday went as we watched Damien Delgado's bowl head down. And
He's
that
corrected
looked to be
well.
very, very good.
Just on the outside of the jack.
So we took Australia, took the first men's triple crown since our first ever World Bowls Championships back in 1966. So that's something.
Wow, that's shocked me and to some degree, and they were fantastic, that triples team. They played outstanding, and sometimes it's down to who you beat. When you beat a team that's got Alex Marshall and Paul Foster in it, you've well and truly earned your gold medal.
So overall, on day one, Australia, this is day one of the finals. We've been going for a week, of course, but they finally get a day off tomorrow. There is a lay day tomorrow for this big group of bowlers here. 500 plus competitors.
Yeah, another great shot there from Deon, just drops in behind the jack.
2 gold for Australia, our para mixed pairs, which we saw the climax of yesterday. That was desperately tight. The men's triples, a couple of silvers in the women's fours and the men's, as well, men's pairs, I think it was, and then a couple of bronze in the para women's pairs and the women's singles on the opening day.
Pretty successful day for Australia, really. There'll be a couple of those performances where perhaps they turned up expecting more. But you know, anytime you come to a World Championships and you go home with a medal, you've really got to be happy with that.
Well, what I can tell you from our statistical team here, every Australian jackaroo will walk away from the first week of comp with a medal, and there's still plenty to be done next week. And
absolutely.
Of course, we'll be here next weekend.
So all the disciplines reverse next week. So if the men have played singles and fours, it's the other way around. The women have played singles and fours, so now the men will play singles and fours next week. And the women will play the other disciplines. So another batch of medals on offer next weekend.
And next weekend, of course, our finals will be at Broadbeach, which will be familiar to a lot of our viewers from Commonwealth Games, etc. The noise that came at night time out of Broadbeach was just raucous. We were staying close by. I was covering track and field for my previous employer, and we could hear it. We could hear them at night. They were going off. It was fantastic.
And just a little scrape of the jack there as Gareth passed by, but no harm done. South Africans will be glad to have got on the board first. It's just a nerve settler to get the scoreboard ticking over, and Australia will be looking to do the same here. Jimmy's on a wonderful line here. How's the run on this bowl? Needs it to get all the way, and bang, there it is. What a shot.
Yeah, they'll make plenty of noise today, believe me.
Perfectly played. You had a wonderful view of that bowl coming in. The line looked a treat the whole way. Of course, Jimmy skippered for the ACT in the Open Side Series last year. Wonderful player. Looking for a little bit of an edge there, but not quite. Just a little bit too much of that front bowl for Gareth.
Yeah, his rep history dates back over 2 decades. He was bronze in the 2022 Commonwealth Games in the triples.
2002.
2002, I should say, yeah. Which is fantastic. So, yeah, 21 years ago. Over 3 decades in bowls.
He's pointed it well again. I'm not quite sure how much weight's on this one. It's still coming. Has he made it? It's fallen in. That'll be close. I think it's probably only still 1, but it is very close, and great shot.
Pretty close for 2, but you keep your hand there. Keep your weight. Bang through those woods.
Well, it has set up a little bit of a window there for Gareth to play up to now. Perhaps catch the edge of that last bowl and get to the shot bowl, or find the gap and get to the jack. So a reaching weighted shot here. We'll need it to start to get down.
Okay, good weight.
Just on the outside.
So we think 1 from your very trained eye.
Yeah, it's 1 and a look. That'll be a measure for second at the moment, but I'll probably favour South Africa on our angle. But Jimmy will look to add another here, and last bowl of the end. These are those opportunities you get where the opposition can do no more, and you've got a chance to add one. In the overall scheme of things, if you get 3 or 4 attempts at these sorts of add-ons and you take them, that can be the game right there. He's following it.
Damien likes it as well.
Look at this. Down to the blue. That'll do it.
Now you're saying 2.
Jimmy Reynolds. Yes, loading 2 now, and they'll measure for a third. Three perfectly played bowls, really. I mean, look at those 3 bowls that he's landed, all in the zone there.
We're already 2 ends in, and they're starting to sink to Jimmy.
Yeah, he's such a popular figure. Both of these players are. Now let's have a look at this measure. It is just the 2.
So Australia, after 2 ends, take the lead. They lead 2-1.
That's good, bud. Yeah, mate, your one was great. Praise again. Good. You know, no question, weight was great.
Swooping in over a slightly hazy Gold Coast skyline this morning. A little bit of cloud cover. So conditions a deal more comfortable for the players today. The breeze is not up. Green won't become as fast as it did yesterday, you've got to suspect. But there's still a little bit of heat out there, and we're watching the men's para pairs final. It's Australia v South Africa, Jackaroos v Proteas. 11 teams started this competition. We're down to 2, and both of these sides unbeaten. Both sets of men very, very experienced.
Yeah, absolutely, Pat. And we've seen the leads there just perhaps struggle to find the line on this length, so they'll learn from that. Only the 3rd end of the match, so still weighing up what everything's doing.
I'm with Alan Faulkner down here. Alan, you're in charge of these two legends, Damien Delgado and Jimmy Reynolds. First of all, what's it like working with them and getting to know them as good people?
Oh, it's a real privilege. I feel so lucky to do the job that I do. We've got some extraordinary individuals within our para squads, and I'm super proud of them, not only how they play but how they represent.
Now, you're obviously a former, for those that don't know, a former world champion, Commonwealth Games gold medalist representing England. Tell us a bit of how the move came about joining up with the Australian Jackaroos.
So we've been very lucky to travel the world with bowls and make friends all over the world, and we've always had a soft spot for Australia and the lifestyle and the people over here. And after the Commonwealth Games in 2018, put in a visa application, it came through and an opportunity came up, and we took it with both hands. So yeah, myself and husband Chris have been over here for just over 18 months now.
And with all that experience, what are some of the main areas you like to sort of provide when it comes to the athletes, not just the para-athletes, but all the athletes in terms of your experience, talking about conditions and surfaces, and maybe touch on what you contributed last year at the Birmingham Commonwealth Games?
I think, everyone's got a different part to play in the team, and you all bring different elements. For me, it's just about really building those relationships and understanding the people and how to get the best out of the people. When it comes to the technical and tactical side of the games, you've got experience from all over the world, but equally it's about asking the right questions to help the players find their own answers and their own solutions.
Now, Jimmy's got a bit of a fan club. He's a very popular fella, as is Damo, but we've got a bit of a chant up there happening. Are you chanting inside sideline as well?
Absolutely. So I saw Els and Chrissy this morning before we left, and they've been practicing some different chants. So the boys heard them before we got on the bus. So they're loving them. So I hope that I hear lots of those chants this morning.
Alan Faulkner, thank you so much for your time, and good luck to the Aussies.
Thanks, Baz.
That's Barry Lester chatting, as he will right throughout the day. He'll pick out some of the personalities in the crowd. We talked about citizenship. Well, there was a revelation yesterday from Gary Kelly after the pairs that he will become an Australian citizen as of September 20. Do we know yet whether it'll be dual citizenship of Ireland and Australia, which it probably will be, and whether he continues to play for Ireland?
Yeah, that'll be something they'll have to work out. I'm not sure. It was certainly news to me as well yesterday. But the lure down under, it is a big lure. Ellen Faulkner there, one of the superstars of the sport, and a wonderful player and person, and great to have her involved in the Australian Jackaroos team.
Yep, it's a mecca, isn't it, right at the moment?
Yeah, there's so much experience in what Ellen brings to her role. Now, are we seeing some weight here from Jimmy? We certainly are. He's going to need this to hold on now. He's going to drop away and get one of the South African bowls, but the shot bowl remains. So, opportunity now for Gareth Rees-Gibbs to... Are we holding? I presume so, was the response from Deon. I think he's guessed that based on the Australian shot and the fact that Jimmy was playing weight. So it does look like the South Africans have got shot. Well, he's pushed this out deep. Looked like he didn't quite get that one away quite clean, and he's just pushed it out a bit deep. Almost got back to a line where it could have counted, but yeah, the Australians concede that one shot. We're locked away.
We're locked away at 2-all. We exactly are, exactly right. Now, don't forget, among our great sponsors, Drink Wise. You won't miss a moment if you decide to drink wise.
So 2-all after 3 ends, and the players have just had their chance to get used to the conditions now. It is only a 15-end match, so important now. These next few ends are where you can really establish yourself in the match. All a learning, all a gaining of knowledge in those first few ends that puts into that performance as you get to the middle part of the match, and then when the whips are cracking right at the end. So just over a medium length here with the mat up the green a little. Jack almost to the tee. This is a decent first bowl from Deon van der Vyver. Has he got the jack? He has. Great starter. There's a slight difference when the South Africans get close to when the Australians get close, with a very parochial home crowd here.
Well, I mentioned Jimmy having a big slice of his family here, but Damien plays his bowls at Tweed Cabarita down that area, so he'll have plenty of locals following him. They've only got to come up the highway about 50 k's.
Absolutely, and as I said, they're both so popular that people will go out of their way to come and support them.
So we're watching Deon van der Vyver. Unbeaten, the Proteas, this team, plus 22 in their lead in.
Good weight, buddy. Well done.
He too, been involved in the sport for 2 decades.
I think that's the key there is, unbeaten in 5 qualifying rounds, but only plus 22 just tells you they've had to perform in close matches throughout the tournament. Oh, Damien's line's good. He's right in the area here. Jack, and where does it end up? Well, look at that. Both bowls so close to the jack. There is nothing in that.
Don't be scared of it. Play the hand nicely. Get onto the split.
What a great shot.
That kind of weight to that ball. Very good.
Just see the perfection of this surface as well. And that's a credit. We when players play so well on the green, we give credit to the players.
Yeah.
But there's so much credit that goes to the greenkeepers that produce a perfect surface for the players to be able to do that on. If the green wasn't so perfect, that would make it much more difficult for the players. So it's just a credit to all the green staff out there that work so hard. The greens are their baby. The greens are part of their family almost, and they just do a wonderful job.
Deon looking to split them up and misses by a whisker. Yes, as we said, there's so much pressure on the greenskeepers and all the stuff, but we've got 44 countries, which is a record, so that naturally carries through that the 1,250 plus matches will be a record as well. We've got 400 plus players, 140 coaches, and there's 5 Gold Coast clubs being used. So we're here at Helensvale, of course the famous Broadbeach Club where we'll be next weekend for finals, Musgrave, Mudgera Bar and Paradise Point.
Yeah, it's amazing stuff, and all of them with great shot there.
What about this?
Look at that. Just brilliant. Just brilliant consistency from Damo. And that's the thing that gets me when I watch Damo play, is the absolute consistency that he can achieve.
Yep.
He is a brilliant player, but just you touch on those clubs. Then what you don't have there in those numbers is the number of volunteers that it's taking to execute this event. And the volunteers are the lifeblood of our clubs. They do a fantastic job, as we see 2 of the Aarons there, Aaron Wilson and Aaron Tees. Silver medalists in the pairs yesterday. But no, credit to all the volunteers out there that are making this event happen. They do an amazing job. Look at those bowls huddled around the jack.
So what do you do tactically now if you're Gareth and you're Jimmy heading down for your 3 bowls?
Well, I think Gareth's probably going to be looking forehand to try and turn the blue bowl. We're not entirely sure the actual count as it sits at the moment. So Gareth will be looking just to arrive here, turn the blue bowl over, or potentially just turn the Australian bowl off the front of the jack. Well, that's a better setup in a sense. The only issue for South Africa now, they've got nothing past the jack. So if they do want to play any sort of aggressive shot, they've not got a lot of insurance if that jack moves. Jimmy, on the other hand, can perhaps be a little bit more confident. He'll be on the backhand and can afford to draw right up to this jack, because if he does nudge it, it's only going towards the Australian bowls.
As we've said a couple of times, it just adds to the pressure that this is our first in 7 years. The scourge of the pandemic, as we know, the last world titles were scheduled for 2020. They had to be abandoned. Players picked for that 2020 side, and some have held on and retained their places. So it's a long time since we have played a World Bowls Championships, and the Gold Coast, a beautiful, beautiful host.
So the call there from Deon was to play something similar down to the South African blue bowl, try and push it onto the Australian shot bowl. Looking for it to bend, not quite going to. And the only issue with dropping that bowl in the ditch with that weight is he still hasn't created that insurance to be able to play that shot with his last. Not entirely sure he can afford to play that shot with his last, because if he does push the bowl up and gets any part of the jack, it's probably only increasing the count for Australia. It'll make it a tricky last bowl for him.
It's on your way. Come on, just drop that weight. You know,
needs to drop the weight. That is a very good call from Deon. Drop that weight off. It's really only just over the draw.
Now you try.
Well, he's closer.
Just better weight.
Still going to struggle to get right back. Just didn't quite make it back. Probably still a little bit overdone. And that's just held that ball and stopped it from turning. So it's a free shot for Jimmy Reynolds again. We saw him take advantage of this earlier in the match when the Australians grabbed a 2.
Come on, Jimmy.
It's less room this time.
Run, Jimmy.
But he's close. Not quite.
One. So that's how tight it is. They're going ahead in ones at the moment. We're 4 ends in, and Australia have the slightest of advantages. 3-2 they lead in the men's para pairs here at the World Bowls Championships. We're at Club Helensvale, the northern end of the Gold Coast.
About half a metre in front. Keep coming, buddy. Hang on, yeah. Keep coming, stop. Come on, Deon. Come on, Deon. Yeah, great stop. Come on, swing your last. Wait, man, wait.
It's a World Championship final. After 5 or during the 5th end, where 3-2 you expect it. When you've got 2 unbeaten teams coming into this final, it's going to be desperately close, and that's exactly how it's panned out. Welcome back. We're on day 2 of finals here at Club Helensvale on the fabulous Gold Coast. The teams are Damien, Delgado and Jimmy Reynolds, Australia, 2 very experienced bowlers, but so too are Deon, Vyver and Gareth, Rees-Gibbs, have both been involved in the sport for over 20 years.
Yes, and Deon's done a great job there. He's dropped 2 nice and close as Damo just tries to respond here.
Yeah, that's all.
But Pat, with Deon having done such a great job there, it might be a good time to get down to Barry, and I think he's got a South African guest with him.
He has.
Yeah, thanks very much, Clive. I'm with Owen James, the coach of the boys here. How do you feel that they've started so far? The conditions are quite kind. Do you feel they've made the most of those conditions so far?
For us, obviously, the conditions are still very different to back home. But I think they've adjusted very well pretty quickly, and I think they're going to hold their own. My feelings is we've come in here as the more or less the underdogs. Home ground advantage to Australia. Australia's players are well known, big support team behind them, and my guys have come in feeling very relaxed and accepting that there's going to be the odd bit of Aussie-South African rivalry going on again, as per normal, and it's good to see. It's I think my guys are ready for it and up for it, and they're pretty chilled about that.
Love to hear that rivalry word. That's what it's all about. They're out there trying their best, but as we know, after the game, they'll have a good time and celebrate together and chat together. But let's talk about South Africa. Your greens, your conditions. You say that they're different. What have you got back home in terms of surfaces compared to Australia?
Yeah, well, the actual grass itself is totally different to this grass. This is a much finer grass, and just watch him put it in the ditch there. And our greens are a lot slower. We look at probably the 13 to 14, 15 second mark on a fast green. Come winter months, and then in the summer we've got even slower greens. So it all depends on how quickly we adjust it to these surfaces. But they are different, very different. Yeah.
And both players are very experienced at the international level. They've been playing the game for quite a number of years. You believe that that'll help them put them in good stead for this final today?
Yeah, look, Deon's played in a couple of Commonwealth games, and Gareth is new as a skip and so on. So I think Deon is a stabilising force to Gareth, and Gareth has come here and is still very happy to learn and watch what happens, and he's holding his own. That's the big thing. Is he's not out of his depth at this level. So I'm very pleased with his performance for the whole tour so far.
Well, Alan, thank you so much for your time. Good luck today. It's always great to see that Australian-South African rivalry strongly alive, and good luck to both teams, and all the best, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, we'll still sit down afterwards and have a couple of beers and enjoy it, Good stuff.
Of course you will. Thanks, Alan.
Now, talk us through what's transpired while we were having that chat with the South African manager.
Things have changed a little, haven't they? Because South Africa were holding, and Jimmy's come down there with, he's got every shot in the book, and he just showed it with ripping the jack through into the ditch. He's then drawn another, and there's a bit of a game breaker situation on now for Australia, and Gareth needs to get one in the area here. He's not far away. Well, that's a very good bowl. He's under all sorts of pressure there. 4 down as he played that bowl, and he's drawn the shot now. Because Jimmy got a clean look at this, because if he does, I reckon he'll be after the bowl. I reckon he'll be chasing it and challenge Gareth to do that again.
So now, just explain, because the jack has gone into the ditch, it stays there?
Yes.
But if any of the following bowls goes into the ditch, they don't count.
Yeah, the only
it's just a
bowls-
matter of keeping it on the playing surface and getting closest to that that jack.
So the only bowl you can see that counts is that bowl in the ditch because that was the toucher. So any bowl that's a toucher can be pushed into the ditch and it will remain live. But you can't get any more touches. So if you do drop in the ditch and you touch the jack, that's no good. So it's drawing to the edge without going in. But this won't be a draw, I don't think. I think this will be chasing that blue bowl. Four seconds, waited, looking for the bowl. He's close, he's close, he's got it in the middle. What a shot. Jimmy Reynolds. He challenges Gareth, he says, well, you drew it once, you're going to have to do it again.
Take a bow, Jimmy.
Aussie team getting right behind their man. And look at that, no doubt that he had that bowl, hit it right in the middle. So, Gareth just needs to compose himself. Now, he would have been down that end and already in his mind should have been he's getting that bowl. He's going to get it. I need to draw it again.
So, last delivery of the end.
Now, there is room, but when you're 4 down, nothing's easy. How much weight's he got on this? It's into the zone. Is it going to stop?
Boy, it's got to stop.
It's close. What a shot. Wow.
Wow. The quality of this final is enormous.
Oh, we're fittingly locked away at 3-all after 5 ends. What a display of bowls on that end. Every shot in the book played under all sorts of pressure.
So we're right in the zone for the right at home Jackaroos. For quality in-home care and support, call right at home on 1300 363 802.
How good is this match? We're on.
Right, pal. Looking good, buddy. Come on, Deon. There we go, pal. Come on, Deon. Great stuff, buddy. Come on, mate. Get down now. Yeah. Lemon. Very good. More, buddy. Get in, mate. Get in close. Middle.
The overview of Club Helensvale. Right at the northern end of this fabulous Gold Coast, the tourist strip. The tourist strip is pumping at the moment. The weather's just been perfect. Start of spring, Father's Day, there's families everywhere.
I want to change your hand there, buddy. The bowls are very good. If you tuck that jack in, you hide it behind there. I don't mind either.
Well, once again, Deon's got the job done so far on this end. Deon van der Vyver. Sitting right on the jack. But what an end of bowls we saw on that fifth end. We saw weighted shots, we saw pressure draw shots. Both teams delivering. Is this going to clear the front? If this clears the front, he's very close. Oh, this is a very great, this is a very good effort.
Well played, Deon.
Very well done. You can see the consistency starting to settle in now. Now that those opening sort of nervous ends are done.
Yep.
Players can settle in and play for a title. Look, all the indicators so far say this is going to be a close one.
So Jimmy issuing the instructions. And Damien follow.
The thing I love about, as Damien just overdoes that one, the thing I love about what we've seen from Damien over the last few years is an ability to play well on the really quick stuff.
Yep.
And also an ability to play well on the slower tracks in that preparation for Birmingham last year. Damo was able to achieve a consistency and is able to achieve consistency on both. And, you know, when we talk about an adjusted delivery for the English heavier conditions, we often talk about putting body weight into the bowl and things like that. Damo's got to do that with his arm, and he's just been remarkable, the consistency that he was able to achieve.
So we heard Barry talking to the South African team boss. How big a transition is it when you come out to these Australian greens?
In some cases, you'll hear some people say it's easier to go from slow to quick than necessarily quick to slow, because quick to slow often comes with a very much change of game plan as well. Yep. But, you know, the good players have shown, the great players have shown that it can be done, and with the more advent of synthetic surfaces as well, it's perhaps allowing that a little bit more. But it was interesting that, you know, Owen was quite happy to say, we're the underdogs here. We're quite happy with that tag. That's brought a relaxed vibe to them. They're saying, the conditions don't suit us, the crowd's not backing us. Well, we'll just turn up and go for it.
Yep, exactly right. And you and I both went over and had a chat to the South African team before the match, and you're right, they were embracing this underdog tag, and they are bowling like absolute demons at the moment.
Well, that's beautifully played. Now, it's going to be interesting. Will we see more weight? Because those bowls all line up and could all go. Big weight it is. Jimmy looking for contact to get them all. Has he got them all? What a shot!
He does it again.
Are you kidding me? He made contact with the Australian bowlers as well, but I think they'll have landed shot. Look at this perfect connection. Bang, out they go.
Beat that ball. Very good.
Now that is now close for shot, but plenty of room now. On the money.
That's the third in the row from Jimmy.
He gets those runners away so well. Now, is this going to do enough to drop inside the Australian closest? It has. Gareth delivers again.
So this is the last of the end.
There is an open draw, but coming off weight back to a draw is one of the most difficult skills in the game, especially on the fast surfaces. He's jogging after it.
Come on, Jimmy.
He's starting to get back. Jimmy Reynolds.
That is just superb. Round of applause from my fellow commentator here as Australia take a 4-3 lead. We're 6 ends in to a 15-end final. It's the men's para pairs here at the World Bowls Championship. Barry, you would be loving this out there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we've got some great music playing. Carl Hilly absolutely loves his music and his movie quotes, but let's be serious, Carl. You are now a world champion, mate. How are you feeling today after, reflecting last night, I'm sure, with your teammates and on what just went down yesterday?
I'm ecstatic with the rest of the team as well. Everyone, we are a really tight unit. Everyone's really happy for us. We're happy for everyone that's medalled and basically played in the event. We're all here supporting the boys now, and it's going to be a pretty good finish off to the first week.
And what about your journey? You're knocking on the door for many years to try and crack it into the Australian team. Since then, you've been picked in a few five-a-sides. You've come away with some silver medal in Birmingham last year at the Commonwealth Games and gone one better yesterday, winning a world title. Let's talk about your journey and how much it means to you to now be in amongst the Jackaroos team.
Yeah, patience and persistence, really. I never thought at 35 that I'd be making the Australian squad, but there's always a calling for a bit of an old head, I suppose, in there. And at the end of the day, you put the runs on the board, you keep knocking on the door. Selectors see that and they see the runs on the board, and I got a run there. So.
It was quite moving yesterday in the speeches with Corey talking about he'd played a lot of bowls with you in New South Wales environment and he looked up to playing with Omar. What does it mean when you hear it from a teammate like that, what it means to play with someone like you and to play with mates? And you spoke about the camaraderie.
I used to play juniors against Aaron Sheriff many moons ago, and he was always an exceptional player. He was always the benchmark, and Corey coming through had that X factor. And that's when I sort of thought to myself, well, maybe I'm not going to make the Australian squad when, at 20 years of age, Corey's making the squad. And, they're just exceptional players, these young players these days. And, look, we're a really tight group. They're great people, and it's just great to be around them.
And the atmosphere is really lifted here. We've got the girls up in the grandstand cheering on different chants. And right down here, you hear the noise from the players and the crowd. What a massive improvement it has been over the years in the para area of players just coming on leaps and bounds, so many great players. What does it mean to you to get right behind the para side of things?
Oh, they get right behind us. So, we give it back to them. And like I said, we're a really tight group. The girls do their job with the chants. The boys have a bit of noise on the side. It's all good fun, we're all supportive of each other, and we just try and be as noisy as we can. The Aussie crowd's always pretty noisy.
Well done. Thanks for joining us, and all the best in the second week in the next discipline.
Thanks, Baz. Cheers.
So
there we go. Carl Healy, world champion, down here at ringside.
Yeah, it's got a nice ring to it. Barry has that. Carl, yesterday part of the team of Corey Wedlock and Aaron Sheriff, who won the triples. Now, I just look at the stats here. Scotland, that was their domain for so long, was it? From 96, when they won it. They won 4 of the 5 world titles to be contested from 96. England came in as the title holders, and Australia took the title late yesterday afternoon here. In emotional scenes, it's got to be said.
Well, there was some extra emotion there, Pat. Corey lost his father last year, and he dedicated that win to his father. Obviously, a difficult time of the year for the family. So an amazing victory, and to Corey and his family, just a wonderful tribute to his father. Really emotional win.
And another world title for Aaron Sheriff. In 2012, he won the fours. Been one of our greatest.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. Well, Damo had a couple of close bowls there, but Deon's been able to get in there and knock the jack to the back of the rink. Still 1-2 Australia as we change over and perhaps wait for some more Jimmy Reynolds magic, because he is putting on a show out there over the last couple of ends, that's for sure.
A lot of green and gold in the audience. Two very popular figures in Australian bowling, Damien Delgado and Jimmy Reynolds, as I said, have been around for a long time, both 42. Damien plays his bowls around this area, around the Gold Coast area, the Tweed, Cabarita area. Jimmy, Bega born, played a lot of his bowls through the ACT.
Yes, and as I mentioned, only last year skippered for the ACT in the Open Side Series and did a fantastic job.
Here we go.
We might go back to Barry and just check on the conditions. As we said, Barry, right at the start of the show, that it doesn't seem to be as, I don't know, whether it be as potent as yesterday. The breeze is not up and the heat is not as severe because we've got that cloud cover.
Yeah, that's right, Pat. I'm right down at the green here. And as we're seeing, just as the way the TV broadcast is set up here, we've got the same rink being played a couple of days in a row and a couple of times throughout the day. So what that will do, especially with the wheelchairs, extra foot traffic, is that will just compact the grass down. And as the rinks are moving, that'll create a bit of a shine. So add that sunlight for the last 20 minutes opposed to the crowd we had. What we're seeing now is this green's just freeing up a touch and drawing wider, and we saw yesterday with a couple of jacks that went offline. If that happens again throughout the day today, you'll notice out near the edges it's slightly going to be slower, but the word on the street is after this match the greenkeepers are going to come out and roll this green to just flatten it out again in preparation for the singles final.
Barry, just looking at the way Jimmy's played those last couple of ends, drive to draw, better than anywhere else. It's a tough skill, and he just absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, and that's all the experience. So Jimmy, back in 2002, played Manchester Commonwealth Games, had a bit of a break throughout his career from international duties, and he's come back 21 years later and performing on the biggest stage again, using all that experience to be able to play the drive, which he's done so many times before, but not in just para bowls, but in open bowls. Jimmy's played the highest level of bowls as an open level bowler, and that's hats off to him, but he's been able to play those drive draw shots using all the experience he has. But for me, it's more the composure, because he knows this is where he wants to be, this is where he belongs, and he's done it before so many times in his career.
Barry Lester there, love getting his bird's eye view of everything that's going on. He knows everyone in the sport, so the interviews are great, aren't they? Been on the podium as Barry at World Championships and Commonwealth Games, so we could get no better. And of course, up here in the commentary area with me, the voice of bowls in Australia, Clive Adams. And we're witnessing a wonderful final. Have a look. We're just about the end of the seventh end. It was 4-3. There's nothing in it.
Well, there's a little call here that they may have 3 seconds. So there's an invite from Deon to Gareth to say you can attack if you like. Otherwise, he's going to play the draw.
That's your ball coming up this all the time beforehand. That's worth a lot.
I think he just wished him luck. So he's going for the bowl, looking to remove it for 2 or 3. How is he? He's caught the front and no result there. So it's going to be another one on the board to Australia. And they sneak away to a 5-3 lead.
5-3 after 7 ends, hence alone. Be your best with the world's very best bowls. They are proud sponsors here. We're at Club Helensvale, day 2 of finals at the World Bowls Championship.
Okay. Good run, buddy. Well played, Deon. Come on. In there. Fair effort, mate.
Come on, Damien.
Fair effort.
Hey, Damien.
Good work.
Change now. For touch mark, it's going to go to them. Listen.
What do you want to do?
I'm asking. Do I have to change or not?
Draw again, bud. Draw it again. You're drawing nicely there, bud. Draw another one.
Two-shot leads have been rare here at Club Helensvale in this final. We're watching the men's para pairs. It's got everyone's attention here at Helensvale this morning.
Here we go, Deon.
Including our volunteers.
Well played, buddy.
Everyone
Very
loves
good.
the camera, don't they? And yes, the hard-working volunteers for sure. And there's the Jackaroos team cheering on. Lindsay Clark having a bit of fun with the blow-up finger there. Lindsay Clark soaking it all up in her last appearance for Australia. Of course, another week to go. I'm sure there'll be some celebrations at the end of next week to acknowledge Lindsay's contribution. What a bowl this is. Well, it's just dropped onto the front. Thought it was getting around to the jack.
Yeah, Lindsay's also got the triples to come next week, but yeah, a two-time world champ.
You're just drawing up to that
Yeah,
ball. You're
just a-
resting. You're
just a
falling
star.
over. Very good, bud. Touch on the jack's good for us.
Captain
Just
of
on
the
draw.
Jackaroos team for a long time. That's a nod to her leadership qualities.
Just repeating that South Africa has the blue bowls for this final. Australia the red. Makes it easy for us in the commentary area to keep tabs on who's doing what.
When we look at the scoring in this match, Pat, there's only been one multiple, just the two shots scored when Jimmy added that one with his last bowl. Everything else has been single shots scored. As we're on the 8th and 5-3 the scoreline.
Now, the busiest man, I think, of our team at the moment is Barry. He's out there again. He's found someone else to chat to in this crowd.
Yeah, I'm absolutely loving this, Pat. Surrounded by all the Aussies here. They're all cheering loud for this big match, but I'm with the head coach, Gary Willis. Gaz, just give us a review of the week so far, a bit of a debrief. How are you feeling at the moment?
Yeah, really good. I mean, you walk away sort of making seven medals out of 7 disciplines. You're always pretty happy and just so proud of the team and what they've achieved and the work they've put in. You know, it's a just reward.
And I just want to go back maybe 12 months ago or even further back when the World Championship, something like this comes about. What kind of planning goes in? And just maybe give us a little bit of insight to your support crew as well that are helping you get the job done here.
Yeah, it's a massive process for us. You know, we're so well supported by the AIS and the CGA, and we put a lot of effort into it. We've got some great people behind the scenes. You know, we've got some legends of the game that support us, you know, through mentoring programs and everything that we put in place. And I guess we try to leave no stone unturned, so whether it's in the preparation on green, it's the physical aspect, it's the mental aspect, all those types of things that we've built up over the last, particularly the last 12 months, but over the last 7 years, it's been a big process. We've got, as I said, tremendous support staff in the likes of the Karen Murphys, Rebecca Van Ashes, Ellen Faulkners, Claire Turleys, Leah Lazaro, all those people behind the scenes, Stocky, our national selector, and Therese Hastings. So we've got tremendous people that support us as well and support all of our players. It's like our second family. We call it our second family, and we live together, train together, play together, and do everything together. It's just a wonderful experience to be part of.
And there's a Pathways program as well at the moment that is all around Australia, identifying talent, identifying people coming through. Tell us a bit about what that program looks like and how that's so beneficial to the future of bowls.
Yeah, we've really invested in the AOS, invest in the Pathways program where we talent ID, obviously get our youngsters early on, not necessarily age specific. Anyone can come into that at any level, so they can finish a career in cricket or footy or whatever, and still come into bowls and still make the representative grade. So obviously the focus is on our younger people coming through the system. We develop them as we go with our Pathways coaches, state-based coaches, and work really hard on fine-tuning them and getting them ready for the big stage too. So it's all part of a bigger picture. The states are heavily involved and really supportive, and then obviously Bowls Australia and everything that we put into that program is essential for our progress and our success.
Well, there you have it. Gary Willis giving us a really good insight on not only this program but other programs helping the sport of bowls for the future and beyond. Thanks, Gary.
Thanks, Baz. Cheers, mate.
Pretty happy too yesterday as well. We finished with a couple of gold medals through the para mixed pairs and the men's triples. Men's triples winning our first since in that discipline since 1966.
Yeah, and Gary's a great coach. He's followed on from the great work of the great man Steve Glasson, and as the handover happened just a few years ago now, and Gary was a wonderful one to take over. Now, the change to this head's been interesting. The turning of the blue bowl by Gareth has just opened up an attacking option for Australia with the two bowls at the back of the rink. You can see those two bowls hanging on the edge of the ditch there. Interesting to see the choice of shot. Jimmy's come down and had a look. He might well play through the Australian bowl to push it to Jack, or at least get one of the blue bowls out of the head.
Hold on, Jimmy.
He's close. Well, he's got one of them out. So that was the consolation prize, if you like.
Yep.
Make your ball your target. Yep, we're holding one. Get your target there.
Yep. South Australia still holding one, and just the one bowl to come on this end. So a chance, not a lot of room there, but a chance for Gareth to get in there and maybe tie the scores up. Look at those bowls sitting on the edge of the rink there. That's another credit to the greenkeeper, that the bowls will stop on that edge. Plenty of greens around where the bowls will just trickle in.
Well, we saw Gareth produce a beauty a couple of ends ago, didn't we, to deny the Australians 4 shots with his final bowl that finished just centimetres short of the ditch.
So important that you're able to play that shot,
Are you close?
You're close is the call from Deon, just on the outside.
Great effort. Wait, so good foot.
Another one on the board.
Yep. And it tightens up the scoreline yet again. 1 South Africa. They're the blue bowls. It is now 5-4 Australia after 8 ends. 15 ends this final.
We're talking about the greenkeeper, and there the man is, Nathan Rice, Lurch as he's known, sitting chatting to Carl Healy there, and he's the one that's, or one of the team that's done the fantastic job here to have these greens in such pristine condition for the wonderful tournament that is the World Bowls Championships. Just past the halfway mark, 1 shot in it. Good luck picking a winner from here, because we are none the wiser.
As I mentioned, 5 venues being used. 1,250 matches they've got to plough through over the fortnight. Everyone gets a rest day tomorrow, so I think they'll be looking forward to that. It's been a frenetic start. Obviously here at Club Helensvale, We got a Musgrave, we got a Mudgera Bar, we got a Paradise Point. So we're spread all over the Gold Coast, and of course tomorrow, next week, Saturday, Sunday, we go to the famed Broadbeach Club, right in the centre of the Gold Coast. Where it was the hub for the Commonwealth Games in 2018. And that's where we'll be for the last of our finals next Saturday and Sunday.
You just got a good picture of Deon's preparation there. Moves up onto the mat, makes sure the tyres on the mat. That's the regulation, and then locks go into place to lock the chair into place, and away he goes. So there's a great view of the preparation there. Yeah, I guess with all those matches that you're talking of, Pat, we've talked about the volunteers, we've talked about the greenkeeper. Andrew Howie is the man organising all of this.
Yep.
What an amazing job he's done. I'm sure he's had some sleepless nights. I'm sure he's had some very, very long days. And whilst the importance is there of all the volunteer staff, it needs someone great at the helm to be organising it. And the great thing about Andrew Howie in that role is he's a player that's played at the highest level himself. So he knows from a player's perspective the sorts of things they want looked after. Does a wonderful job.
As we've seen, as we've been hanging around the club in the morning, you know, the volunteers come in, they're all cheery and, you know, looking for, where do you want me today? Well, I'll do the car park, I'll do, yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
The bowl of Deon van der Vyver from East London.
Well, this is a battle royal now, isn't it? This is a battle to the end now. They've got through the early rounds of this one, and now it's a fight to the finish for a gold medal. Could come down to one big shot. Damien Delgado replies wonderfully well.
We're holding. Stay a second. We're drawing to the ball. No trajectory, it's fine. Get to the ball.
It's going to just drift across the front. A little bit of contact, but
There, mate. Just there. Give us a safe hole, mate.
yes, there is the great man, Darryl Clout, president of World Bowls, and a wonderful gentleman he is. Who spent time as president of Bowls Australia as well. And I'm sure he's as proud as anyone that this event, we've finally got this event underway. Let's say that, 3 years in the making.
So Christchurch 2016 was the last world titles we've staged. They were scheduled for 2020, and of course we know what was going on in 2020.
That's our entire Australian Jackaroos women's team there, cheering the team on. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. They have so much fun. They're a wonderful crew.
So moving up to the mat now, Jimmy Reynolds and Gareth Rees-Gibbs. Chatting to Gareth, he was born with a very rare disease that's related to muscular dystrophy. And he said he has his good days and his bad days. He's obviously hoping today is a very good day.
I think that's what you find here, that in all of these players, there's some wonderful stories, Some have overcoming adversity, some have, maximising their opportunities.
Yep.
And it's just wonderful to have, as we discussed, that this is the first time the para-disciplines have been showcased as part of a World Bowls Championships. We saw it at the Commonwealth Games. It's a wonderful addition to the event. And as we can see here, these players put on a show, and that's what these four out there are doing right now.
And the sportsmanship. We just saw Gareth handing Jimmy his bowl.
All right, Jimmy.
Oh.
He's up.
Jimmy's there again. Is he going to stop in time? No, that's close. If it drops over, it's shot. I can see Damo's still indicating one down. Won't be a lot in that.
Stop. That's your target there. Fraction more line.
Just got a message through from Jody Nikolic in WA. That's one of the emerging Australian Jackaroos, watching on and loving this match.
As you can see,
emerging para Jackaroos.
Yeah.
You know, she's just loving it. You know.
Good measure, mate, but I'll probably favour there. Yours completely
knows these two guys so well, and it's just a really warm feeling when you're supporting people that you know. And Jimmy wasn't far away with the last. He's on a very similar line. He needs this to push all the way. Well, he had a ton of people urging it on.
Very important. Everything you know what it is. Drop that way. Come on. There's your target there.
Deon van der Vyver issuing the instructions to his teammate Gareth Rees-Gibbs.
Yeah, it looks better. Run it up. Get across there. All yours, Jimmy. All yours, Jimmy.
So Jimmy heads back to play the final ball. We think it's 1-2 South Africa at the moment based on the signal we saw from Damien Delgado. It may still be a measure.
We've got 6 ends to play after this. It's 15 ends in this final. I tell you what, he's faced from pressure, hasn't
he? Yes, absolutely.
And he's had to play the whole array of shots. Jimmy Reynolds, we keep saying, 2002, he took a bronze at the Commonwealth Games. So that's how long he's been involved in this sport. Goes back 3 decades when he first started.
There's potentially a weighted shot coming here, looking at the way he was setting up. I think he's going for the blue bowl. With all those Australian bowls there,
yeah.
I think he's playing weight here.
Well, he's 3 from 3 doing this.
It's online. Is it going to get down? Not quite. Close. So will they measure, or we just assume that it is the one? No, they are going to check. It'll be one either way, and we perhaps favour, from what we've seen so far, that the South African bowler will win the measure, but this is going to be a tight measure. Don't doubt that.
One to South Africa, and it'll be levelled up. It goes the other way, just gives Australia that little bit of buffer.
We get a great angle on this measure.
Got to say, thank you to the organisers. They've allowed us. Oh,
I had a feeling.
Wow. All of a sudden it's 6-4. We're 9 ends in. Forget Physiocrem will keep you moving. It's designed to keep you moving.
Well, there you go. It just shows that you never really know until you get that tape out and check. Australia winning a measure that perhaps they didn't think they were going to win. They're just going to have a little chat in the middle of the ring. That gives us just a chance to have a look through this scoreline. And I mean, really, we're just seeing ones galore. The only multiple we've
area that it comes from, down to the south and over to the west, across the ranges. Hope it stays away.
Not enough.
So maybe you can explain what's happening here, Clive. Technical officials coming in.
Yeah, so they're just checking the length of the jack. So international rules, the jack has to be 23 metres. So they're just making sure. In Australia, we've played 21 metres as a minimum length. International rules, which World Bowls is held under, the minimum length must be 23 metres. That's from the front of the mat to the front part of the jack.
Okay, guys, I'm just down ringside. Big observation I make with Jimmy Reynolds. Been seeing Jimmy Reynolds for play for about 20 years, and one thing he does really well when it comes to the technique, he gets his body involved, but Jimmy gets his back knee down nice and early, and he gets it down nice and deep, which gives him the ability to get the bowl away really nice. So as we see with Jimmy when he sets up, the back knee gets down very vertical like that, which keeps his frame up, and then he can get behind the bowl and have his thumb in a nice release position as opposed to being too horizontal and getting over the bowl. And that really helps Jimmy's not only weight control, but helps his direction when it comes to playing those weighted shots. So getting that back knee down and staying right in behind the bowl at the release point.
Hey, Barry, Damien's been great, but boy, Jimmy, hasn't he been wonderful under pressure this afternoon or this morning?
Yeah, he certainly has. I think Barry's... Yep, that's all right. We'll get back to Barry afterwards. But, yeah, that's... look, the consistency that Barry just took us through, that delivery allows Jimmy to have that consistency that he's had. I think we might have Barry back down there.
Just saying, Barry, that while Damien's been fantastic, Jimmy under pressure has just been a star today, hasn't it?
Yeah, and it's all about owning the environment, owning the moment. So with Jimmy's experience playing big level bowls, it's one thing that characteristic with Jimmy. I saw him before the game and just really feeling right at home. Went over and had a quick chat to him, just having a drink of water, having a bite to eat, just really relaxing. And I think that's a really big part of experience, and if you can at club level or state level or anywhere you're playing your games, try and be conscious of always being yourself, not playing to the conditions, just being yourself and owning the conditions and embracing them, and that's what Jimmy's doing. I think you see him there snacking on a banana. You know, it's something that he'd probably normally do at any other competition, so why not do it out there now? And so he's just trying to be himself and really embrace the environment. And that's a really important factor to then executing your shots as well.
So Deon van der Vyver getting one in nice and tight there.
Yeah, nailed it. Now, see what Damo can come up with in reply. 2 shots the difference with this and 5 more to play. And it now can come down to that one big moment, or if he can find a 3 or a 4 and establish that gap, you know, there's just no time for the opposition to grab it back.
Beat that ball even better.
We do have a dark cloud looming over us, but I've looked at the radar. It doesn't look too bad, so hopefully the radar's accurate.
Yes, you picked it up. We had a sudden change of wind direction, didn't we?
Yeah, it switched back to where it was, but there was just a fluke of a change for only about 10 or 15 seconds, and then it switched back.
I've got some very reliable local information that this area is almost exclusively protected from heavy rain and storms. Just doesn't touch Helensvale.
I'm going to hold you to that. All right, well, there's the changeover with Deon van der Vyver landing right on the jack there. Still some bowls in the area from Damien Delgado, as we see the Canadian team having a bit of fun on the sidelines. They will be waiting in anticipation.
Yes, Kelly McCarran. will be in the women's singles final a little later on today. Eliminated England's Catherine Rendell.
By the barest of margins, might I add.
21-20 in the semi.
20. And of course, she'll take on the women's world champion of champions, if you like, Taylor Bruce from New Zealand. Look forward to that. That's still to come. Well, Jimmy wasn't far away with his first. That's a nice home for Gareth to have landed in, just amongst all those red bowls of Australia. And Jimmy might look to just land on his own now or nudge the blue bowl off the jack. He's in the area. Pops it straight out. Call him, you play him, Jimmy. What a shot. What a shot. Now, do we see Waite in reply? It's just perfectly played.
He has been spectacular this morning, Jimmy Reynolds.
That was the beauty of his first bowl. It landed and just created more of a landing zone for him. Look at the reply. Well, the nudge of the jack, and that's back for a couple to South Africa, and you just can't look away at the moment.
So suddenly, the Australians are forced into a heavy tactical meeting.
Just enough of the jack there as it slid by. Little bounce and back down the line.
Jimmy and Gareth have got one bowl each left to wrap up the 10th end, the 10th of 15, and right at the moment we're being told that the South Africans hold 2 shots, which would level it all up if it remains the same.
And the decision that Jimmy and Damien need to make now is, knowing that Gareth still has last bowl, there's a fair bit of room there for Gareth to draw a third. So whatever they choose to do, if it stays that way, you know, they're going to present Gareth with that chance. So whether it comes back to a draw shot, it's probably the most favoured. Looking like forehand draw. Takes the extra moment just to settle himself. This could be a big bowl in the context of the match. Just going to run past. Well, there's a big opportunity here now. This is one of those last bowls we've talked about. Add a third and take the lead here for Gareth Rees-Gibbs.
So it was way back in the second end that we had 2 shots. Apart from that, it's been all 1 shots.
Yeah, barring a change here, that is going to change.
So the insurance broker from Johannesburg, Gareth Rees-Gibbs. Is this a big turning point in this final? Needs just to turn quickly.
Well, it's going to be 2, Pat. And remarkably, it was 3-all after 5 ends. It's 6-all after 10.
Yep.
All right, pal, next one. Come on, first net. Come on.
Vaccine söyle.
Yeah, quite a bit actually. Much better, Deon. Much better, Benny.
We're deep into this men's para pairs final here as we fly over the top of Club Helensvale, northern end of the Gold Coast. Damien Delgado and Jimmy Reynolds are the Australian pairing. Deon van der Vyver, Gareth Rees-Gibbs. Not a struck match between them. 6-all as we head into the 11th end. This final over 15 ends. You may be wondering, as Paras have been included in the world titles for the first time ever, maybe wondering how the classifications are for our para athletes at these games. Damien and Deon, of course, in their wheelchairs. Barry does have the full information on how it works for the para athletes here.
Thanks, Pat. And a really good backstory recently was Ken Hansen, who won a Commonwealth Games gold medal in 2018 there on the Gold Coast. He was just playing some social bowls one day, and the CEO of Bowls Queensland, Brett Wilkie, said to Ken, who's missing an arm, he said, have you ever thought about playing disability bowls or para bowls? Great shot there. And from there, Ken Hansen went on to win a gold medal for Australia 18 months later. So it's just as simple as that. So if you have any form of disability, if you're missing a limb, or you have, as you see with Damien, you're in a wheelchair and you do not actually know that you can go on and play para bowls, if you try to, you'll get classified. And the numbers are from 5 to 8, from your severity to less severity. And the overall number, as we see Damo come in here, beautiful weight, just clipping the front. The overall number needs to be less than 14, or 14 or less as a combined number for the pair. So if you're an 8 and you're trying to play with another 8, your score is too high. So the combined score for the two classified athletes need to be 14 or less.
Thank you for that, Barry. And I'm getting a nod from my co-commentator here. Well explained.
Yeah, very good information there, and it's something that people that are new to the para disciplines won't be aware of. So, no, it's good information. And gee, I mean, as I said before, we went to the break. 3-all after 5, 6-all after 10. Are we destined for an extra end here? Another 5 ends on. Could it be 9-all?
And it becomes sudden death, doesn't it?
Yes, it certainly does. There has to be a winner.
Bowles' version of the penalty shootout.
Hasn't that been exciting over the last few weeks?
Are you good? Catch it.
Great shot here.
Catch it.
Little nudge to the jack.
Yeah, well done.
That's well played from Deon van der Vyver. Sorry, Gareth, that one. Deon's played his 3. Jimmy's had the answers on a lot of these ends. Can he come up with another one here? Needs a land. He's found the gap. 3 shots to South Africa at the moment. This is all it could take is one big end.
More or less the same weight. On to over here. Just into that back. Oh, your weight's good again. Push hard. Yeah.
Well, he's pushed one out there. That will drop it back to just a count of 2 now to South Africa.
Jimmy's following this up.
Come on, Jimmy.
He's in the area. Any jack? No. Just slides past. That'll still be 2.
Come on.
Oh, it's such a fine line at the moment.
Yeah, that last bowl of Jimmy's now does give Gareth something to play to. He can play down knowing that if he just lands on the front of that bowl, that'll be enough to count.
Yes, Gaza. Go on, Gaza. Bid. Go on, Gaza. Gaza. Chin there. Yeah, good spot.
So Jimmy will have last crack at this.
Yeah, a little bit of insurance there with Gareth last bowl. I don't think he really needed it. I don't think Jimmy will be playing any weight. I think he was just looking for the perfect draw shot here.
South Africa holding 2 shots. 1 bowl to come. That belongs to this man, Jimmy Reynolds. Done so much in this sport. Started off as a 14-year-old. He's got mum and dad here. He's got his wife, Nicole.
Only once have we seen 2 ends 1 in a row in this match. It was Australia that did it on ends 6 and 7. Can South Africa do it here? Or can Jimmy find his way in?
Come on, Jimmy, boy. Come on, Jimmy. Run it out.
Has he
Jimmy.
made the
Come on,
correction?
Jimmy.
Jimmy Reynolds. What a shot from Jimmy.
He's a marvel. Talk about pressure.
The man's a genius.
1 to Australia. 11 ends gone. They lead 7-6, 4 ends to play. cloud that was hovering over Club Helensvale has disappeared, thankfully. And as we're zooming in now on the crowd, mainly South African and Australian supporters, early on this day 2 of finals here at the World Bowls Championships, and the quality has been just brilliant.
I tell you what, that black cloud, it got out of here because it realised it didn't belong. This is a showcase right here. This is showing the great things about our sport right here. What a match.
The jack is completely surrounded.
We've just seen so many great draw shots, conversion shots, the whole package in this match.
So early stages of the 12th end. We're looking at the men's para pairs. Para athletes included in the World Championships for the first time ever.
And you can see why.
No, the quality of this has been
match.
Enormous.
Yeah.
We do have a replay coming up in just a moment involving Jimmy Reynolds. And just to paint the picture, South Africa held 2 shots and Jimmy produced this with the last ball of the end.
He'd gone through the hole a couple of times, needed to make the correction and back himself on the perfect draw, and look at those celebrations. Amazing shot. You know, there really wasn't a lot of room to work with, and he just delivered perfection.
One red paddle when it was going to be 2 blue paddles almost assuredly.
Just a massive difference in the match, and we said that only once in the match have we seen 2 ends, 1 in a row. Well, that stayed intact.
Yeah.
Jimmy in the area here. Nudges the jack to the side. It'll still be 1 to the blue.
Still got the 1.
Some pictures of Jimmy's supporters there.
We're holding the 1.
Cheering him on. Passionate supporters they are. Love it.
Last draw on the outside. Roll me over.
Now again, for the uninitiated, just explain to me why they come in and mark the ball that touched the jack with a little bit of chalk.
Yep. So that's just to signify that remains live if it goes in the ditch. Doesn't stay live if it goes out of bounds. If it goes out beyond the boundary pegs, then it is a dead bowl. But any bowl that's marked the toucher on its own free path, so it can't be bumped up, gets a chalk mark on it for that end, and if it drops in the ditch, well, it stays live. A little reward, I guess, for getting close.
South Africa holding 1. If the status quo remains for the end of this 12th end, it'll go to 7-all. Almost appropriate as we edge ever closer to the climax of what's been a wonderful final. Men's para pairs here on day 2 of finals at the World Bowls Championships. We're at the spectacular Club Helensvale, northern end of the Gold Coast.
There's an expectation, the vibe around this place at the moment, there's an expectation on every bowl right now. And is this going to get down? I don't think so. It's going to carry round to the back. Well, I wonder if there's any temptation to chase that blue bowl out of there. Damien and Jimmy are having a chat. I guarantee that's what they're talking about. He's looking and saying, we've got the next 3. Could I go the bowl? The reason they're chatting is there's still 1 bowl left to play each. So Gareth will have the final bowl of the end, but do they put him 3 down and say, are you good enough to draw it? That's the discussion that would have taken place there. We'll find out the answer, the decision, very shortly.
Just referring to our graphic up top left, the little one in the circle, may be pretty obvious, but yes, that means they've got 1 bowl left. 3 each they get, so 6 delivered per team.
Now, what did they come up with here? There is a backhand draw shot available, and if he trails the jack, he gets the 3 anyway. That's the decision. It's backhand draw. Little nudge of the jack would be invaluable for Australia. Is it going to get here? It's trying to run. Oh, I think that's done enough. I think that's done enough for a shot. This place is going nuts for Jimmy Reynolds right now.
Well, the door now ajar for Gareth Rees-Gibbs to produce similar heroics to Jimmy from the last end.
And he'll look to do that on the other hand, I expect. He'll look to get down close to his own blue bowl and either turn it up or just get past to get to the shot. That's what I'd expect. I don't think he'll be looking anything on the backhand, even though jack movement's probably not too bad for him. Just can't afford to lose that blue bowl out of the head, so...
Their teammates Herman Holtz and Mary Homer took silver yesterday in a thriller against the Aussie pair. In the mixed pairs, Jackie Hudson and Jake Feldberg took gold for Australia.
And this is looking on the tight side. It's going to drop away. One more to the heroics of Jimmy Reynolds.
One Australia confirmed. And that is Karen, one of our greatest ever.
Well, Karen's still the defending world singles champion of champions back-to-back for about another 3 hours. I was talking to her last night, and she was cognizant of it. She was saying, "Yep, I'm still there for a little bit longer." She's had an elongated stay with the extra 3 years thrown in, but of course back-to-back. And who would ever forget her trail of the jack for 4 shots to win the back-to-back title, as on cue Damo gets one very close to the jack himself. That shot of Karen Murphy is iconic in a celebration as she trailed the jack to win the title. Unbelievable.
So the singles, Clive, and we'll get to that later, but it's first to 21, isn't it? As opposed to a set number of ends like as we're seeing here.
Yep, do away with ends pretty much in most singles formats. And 21's a bit of a sprint. You know, there's different formats of singles, 25 up, even 31 up in some places. A great reply there from Deon. So 21 is a bit of a sprint. You certainly don't want to get behind, because as your opponent gets towards that 12 or 13 mark, you know, they're not far from victory. So it'll be interesting to watch that one. But gee, we've got 3 ends of this, and who knows, we might even have a bonus end of this to come.
Need a good lie down after this.
Whoever goes away from this with a silver medal, there's always that disappointment of silver, because the only way you get a silver medal is essentially to lose the final. You know, in our formats. They've got to go away with their heads held high with the performance they've both put on here. You can only hope when you go out in one of these finals that you handle your nerves well enough to put on a great display and to give yourself the best chance of winning the match. Both teams have done that here.
It's the bowl of Deon van der Vyver.
There's a switch of hand, and those hands, we showed yesterday that those hands do perhaps perform a little bit differently, so he's had a look there. Not entirely sure why he changed hands. I mean, it got in there with the first, albeit a landing type shot. Unless they're thinking of a little bit of cover from a trail of the jack. Probably a touch early to be thinking about that. This might swing him back again.
Deon, it's not in your way. You're on the inside of that bowl, you're going to roll the ball over. You touch the jack, you stay with it, just on the draw, bud. Get around it and you get to these, it's good. Around. Well done, buddy.
All right, it's a 2-shot lead to Australia, 3 ends to go. Barry, it could come down to one big shot here, a little bit of room on this setup, but how do you see these last 3 ends playing out, mate?
Yeah, I'm with you, Clive. It could come down to a big match-winning shot, especially over these last few ends. But to be able to play that shot, you've got to be winning, outnumbering your opposition. So as we see here, South Africa's got the shot, but Australia's got 2 seconds, and that's the key. You might be 1 or 2 down on the heads, but if Australia or South Africa can outnumber their opponent, it will increase their opportunities. And Jimmy, you can just see with his technique and his body language, he's feeling right at home out on this rink. Just missing high there, but once again, already 3 shots surrounding that shot pole of South Africa. So if we do see some form of match-winning shot or a big number 1, it's going to come down to those numbers around the head. This South African skip here now on the back end, all he's trying to do now is just get another one in there. Another counter is good, but just get another one around it.
And he's close to the jack. Just nudged it sideways. But he's done that job, Barry.
Yeah, that's right. I'm pretty sure it's 2.
Yep, definitely 2.
A lot more room for Jimmy now, so Jimmy just needs to take a little bit of weight off.
That ball, 1 bowl shorter, Jack.
And I think the key too here for Jimmy is because he hit his line, Clive, it's just a weight correction now. You don't want to be swapping hands and starting on a fresh hand and looking for new angles. Just play the same angle, adjust the weight.
He's shown throughout the match he can do it as well, so it certainly wouldn't surprise to see the correction made. It's on its way.
Just needs to run out. Gets into that shinier area here on the green.
There it is.
He was well and truly up the rink too. Great body language, really good rink ownership there from Jimmy. So as that bowl was just coming to rest, he was well and truly up the rink, just showing to his opposition that he's really enjoying himself out there. He's got a real spring in his step, has Jimmy.
Barry, you know him well, and so do you, Clive. I mean, would this be the crowning glory of a wonderful career?
As we just try to focus on positives there, Pat. Just a bit of a fortunate result from South Africa, but absolutely, yeah, he's worked hard for this. He works in the sport, and very popular person in the bowling community, not only in Australia but overseas, and yeah, he gives it his all, and that's why we love about Jimmy. He's out there giving it his all.
Certainly. Yeah, a little bounce off the outside bowl there for South Africa. Jimmy can't turn that back in Australia's favour, so now we've talked about these free shots through the match. Barry, this is a big opportunity now for South Africa and could make a big difference in a couple of ends' time if you can add another one here.
Yeah, same bowl, just slightly narrower. Wouldn't hurt to turn the shot bowl or even trail the jack out and take away that jack high position. So this bowl, if it gets through and stays on, could cut down the potential number for Australia. So, yep, so no, that is one to South Africa.
And it tightens up again. 8-7, 12 ends gone. Coming up to the 13th end, there's 3 to play. 2 to play, I should say. Ortica, the official hearing partner of Bowls Australia. You're getting the sights and the sounds here at Club Helensvale of a wonderful men's para pairs final at the World Bowls Championships.
Very good, buddy. Just a meter. Wait, quick. Don't waste the ball there. What are you wet now?
Conditions have cleared. We had a black cloud hovering across Club Helensvale just for a while, and it vanished fairly quickly. Lots of green and gold in the stands, and they've been rowdy. They've witnessed a riveting men's para pairs final here at these World Bowl Championships. The Australian team of Damien, Delgado and Jimmy Reynolds, both well known on the bowling circuit. Deon, Vyver and Gareth, Rees-Gibbs, Proteas team. And it is 8-7 to the Australians with 2 ends to play.
Deon just passing through the gap there. Damien Delgado holding one for Australia. The key now over those last 2 ends is to keep the outcome out of your mind. It's outcomes that cloud our judgment.
Yep.
It's about execution of the skills that they've practiced and they've honed. Just got to keep that outcome of medals and things like that out of your mind. Well, that's landed somewhat in the way. It'll be interesting to see whether there's a switch here.
Deon, I think land on the forehand, yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
Switch it is.
Get to the ball, it's very good. Just the same weight as your last one. On your backhand, sorry.
Bit of confusion over forehand and backhand there, but...
It's like a meter, you can get around it if you want to try get around it.
All right.
Up to you, you play the shot.
Well, Deon's pulled rank and said, no, I want to stay where I was.
Stays on the forehand.
And he says I can get round it, so let's see. Well, he's going to need this to hold on. I think his best chance is underneath it now.
Inside it.
And he's just made contact with it. That was the fear. Unfortunately, you'd think that ball's probably out of play for the end, being just over a metre short of the jack. When Barry talks about that numbers game, running into that bowl, it just puts another bowl out that you can't use.
Yep.
Albeit he was actually pretty well weighted and had a pretty good line on it.
Awesome, Damo.
Right, we'll change over with Australia holding one. They're one up on the board, second last end of the match. And just thinking back to the way these two teams made it through, South Africa have won close games through here.
Yeah.
They'll have that confidence in their mind. When we've been close, we've won.
Whereas Australia
have been more comfortable in their wins.
Yeah, well, they cruised through their semi-final. Beat the South African pair 23-2 in their semi-final. Or the Singapore pair, I should say. 23-2, and that was at Broadbeach. 5 clubs being used. We're obviously here at Club Helensvale for this weekend. We've had a host of finals. Broadbeach, Musgrave, Mudgera Bar and Paradise Point are the other 4 clubs being used.
Great to see the South African supporters or the team sitting on the edge of their seats on the edge of this rink at the moment. As Gareth is in the area. He's got the jack. Jack down the line. Makes a couple. And it's over to Jimmy Reynolds,
who has continued to perform all morning. Not as quick now. Just getting a little tighter, isn't it?
Yes, just summing up the situation. He's going to follow down there on the backhand. And who would doubt this man's ability to draw the shot? How's the pace? Probably needed a little bit of both, in a sense. Just need to carry around that front bowl to be in the area. Now a chance for Gareth to close right down on this jack. If he can draw a toucher here, it could go a long way to a big advantage going into the final end. He's a touch fierce, but he hasn't done any damage. I think it's still 2. And this is where it actually makes no difference to Jimmy Reynolds, whether he's 1 down, 2 down, makes no difference. He's trying to just draw to the jack. Simple as that. See, Damien went to have a look and then, no, I'm not going to cloud his mind with any other information.
Perfect, mate.
Well, we've seen 2 multiples in the match. 1 each. South Africa about to add another bowl left each to play.
One bowl left. That'll belong to Jimmy Reynolds.
So 2 down is the signal. Wouldn't mind Jimmy going down to have a look here and just settle himself before he plays his bowl. It's a massive bowl in the context of the match.
Well, if he's ineffective with this one, and that 2 stays, suddenly, with 1 end left, South Africa jump to the lead. That's how tight it's been right the way through this final.
I think Damien's last words were, it is a measure, but he did indicate that he thought they were 2 down. So here we go.
Needs to thread the needle up there around the jack.
First pitch round the front. He's done that. Is it going to pull up? No.
We'll measure.
Yeah, they're definitely going to check for that second. Look, on our angle, we've got a favour that's going to be 2 to South Africa.
You are very rarely wrong. You've mastered this television cable very well. So if this is South Africa's, they will hit the lead with 1 end left. Australia lead 8-7. 2 to South Africa. 1 end left.
So we were 3 all after 5, we were 6 all after 10. If Australia score 1, we're 9 all after 15.
Aviant is the go-to insurance for retirees. Give them a call. Find out what they've got to offer because it's plenty. 13 50 50. Get set. Go.
Here we go.
After all this, we've been going the best part of 2.25 hours.
Who can get to the jack first? That's going to be the thing. Who can get to the jack first? Australia needs 1 shot to take it to an extra end. If Australia gets more than 1, they take the gold. If it goes the other way, South Africa are our champions. Oh, we lost the jack there. Okay. So just to add a little bit more drama to it, South Africans have lost the jack and Australia will get to set the length of the last end. Now, just for the uninitiated, that doesn't change the order of play. South Africans will still play first.
Yes.
But Australia will get the opportunity to set the length.
And as we saw yesterday, that was vital in the women's fours, wasn't it?
Yeah, I haven't sensed that much of a length difference in this match. The South Africans have probably preferred slightly longer ends, but they've been in that medium sort of space. So a nervous tension across the Helensvale club.
You need no more than the information top left of screen. Suddenly, South Africa have hit the front, 9-8, and we're in the final end of the match.
So whatever happens, Jimmy Reynolds is going to get a chance to either rectify the situation or win the medal because he's going to have the last ball.
Yeah. Just explain quickly again, if Australia pick up 1 shot here, it goes to 9-all.
We go 1 more end. We go 1 more end for a world title. And we toss the coin for the mat. That's an important toss to win because most likely you want to give that mat away and have last ball. But we've got 1 end to get there yet.
Yes, Deon.
Who can claim first honours here on this jack? Deon's got the chance to do so. He's not far away. That's a very good first bowl. He'd have loved a bit more of that jack and smothered it. It's a very good first bowl.
Not so junior anymore.
So important in these situations to rely on your delivery and keep that tension out of your delivery.
Another one, my buddy.
So you get that nice pure swing.
Very good, bud. Let's go.
Damien just overdoing that first.
I've got to say the mixed pairs for the Paras went right down to the wire yesterday as well. Australia v South Africa.
Australia got the chocolates in that one.
Yep, Jackie Hudson and Jake Feldberg.
I saw Jackie last night after the game. She was so excited, so pleased, and that was well and truly after that game. There was a real pride in what they'd achieved.
Yeah. And to do it under those circumstances as well, it just, I don't know, can you enhance a world championship? But surely under the greatest of pressure,
winning
it just adds
one.
that, that extra little bit.
Now, Damo, has he come up with a correction here? Might need to land, and does.
Takes the shot.
Millimetres in it as to whether you get enough of that bowl to fall back for shot or you just pass underneath.
Just around there's good.
Australia needs one to tie it up. Deon van der Vyver.
His last chance at this point to influence the match.
Come on, Deon.
He's done pretty well.
Yeah, great effort.
That's a very good home. Nothing wrong with that, just in behind any jack movement. The bowl's just waiting.
Well, you know you're on. Where you finish, you're good.
It's definitely a lean forward moment for all the spectators at the moment.
We've got the South Africans lining one side of the rink. The Australians up in the stands.
You look around, so many people are leaning forward in their seats.
Including us.
Yes. Now, he's going to get all the jack. Well, that's a great shot from Damien Delgado. Sits alongside the jack, so still gives the South Africans a look at it. One shot to Australia as they change ends.
And if the status quo maintains, we are going to an extra end. Australia trailing by one shot. Yes, exhale.
There's a chance to be a hero right now.
I think the organisers are saying after 7 years without a world titles that we've decided to include the para-athletes here. So do you think we made the right decision?
Someone's congratulating themselves right now because this has been epic. It's been a fantastic match.
Gareth Rees-Gibbs with his first delivery.
Work it. Yeah, very good second. Well done.
Well, that's just tightened up the room that Jimmy had to draw another. Of course, if Australia grab two, it's all over. And if South Africa can turn this back in their favour, it'll be theirs. We had a shared gold medal in the pole vault just a couple of weeks ago. No such thing here. They'll have to play for it.
Nina Kennedy. I knew you'd mention that, West Australia.
All right, Jimmy's delivered so many times throughout this match. Has he got one more in him? Has he got one more in him? Jimmy Reynolds. What a shot. Boom. What a star. What a star. Look at that. Didn't touch the jack. And we haven't seen Gareth play a lot of weighted shots throughout this match, so it'll be interesting to see what he's got in that regard. As you would expect a reaching type shot. If he can trail the jack, it'd be huge for South Africa.
So they've got the two on right of screen.
Yeah, they've got everything back there.
This one here not going to lock. Lock out of half. Okay, well, you play what you see.
Play what you see is the call. Sometimes that's the best method. Give the skipper the confidence he needs. Play what you see and get it.
Well, the drive certainly came up in that conversation.
Yeah, that's the debate, is how much weight to use here. It definitely has to be a reaching shot, so it's as much weight as he's comfortable of playing, really. He just needs to change this head, even if he gets one of them out. It looked wide out of the hand.
It's got plenty of pace too.
Just outside it.
Gareth Rees-Gibbs has just one bowl left. As we said, it's important. You told us that right at the start of this end that Jimmy will bowl last.
It's one of those ones you want last bowl, but you don't want to have to play it.
Well,
Yes.
you're going to win a world championship. You're going to have to produce some heroics.
Well, right now, they've done enough. It's South Africa that has to make the move. Be interesting to see where Jimmy decides to place this. He really doesn't want to go too close to the target. I think maybe just something just in behind so that if the jack does move, you've still got a chance of having shot. If he can get something just in past, he makes it have to go South Africa's way. Now, is this going to stay up at the back? It is. That's perfectly positioned, really. Could not have done any more with that bowl. And it just means now that South Africa, it needs to be a really good result for South Africa rather than just getting the jack to the back of the rink somewhere.
So paint the picture for us. If Gareth decides to drive and clear it out there, and the jack goes into the ditch, we're still holding shot.
Well, potentially, but it depends, because if he gets the jack clean, his bowl may go with it.
Okay.
And as a toucher, it'll still be live in the ditch. So I get the feeling he'll play slightly less weight now and just try and turn it around the corner, but that's the hardest way to do this. And that's what the beauty of that last bowl of Jimmy Reynolds is. He's made Gareth think about the weight and put a bit of doubt in his mind.
Jimmy's got his mum and dad here, his aunt, his wife Nicole. This is Gareth Rees-Gibbs with his final bowl in normal time.
It's on its way. It's on the backhand. He's just missed. And Australia, they'll take the win.
Of one world championships again in the paras, the mixed para yesterday, and a desperate finish in the other men's para pairs.
What a match, Pat. What a match. Damien Delgado and Jimmy Reynolds have just executed an amazing match. Got to spare a thought for Deon and Gareth with the performance they've put in there. But what a deserved victory. Either team, you could have said that about either of the teams, but Australia are the champions, and what a popular win that is going to be.
Damien Delgado, the 42-year-old from this area, Tweed, Cabarita, silver at the 2022 Commonwealth Games in the pairs. And of course, Jimmy Reynolds, we've mentioned several times, we go all the way back to the Commonwealth Games in 2002. I tell you, Barry is right in the middle of this. Is a wonderful celebration. They did it under the absolute highest of pressure. Barry Lester is there.
Yeah, I'm looking for some tears down here, Pat. I know that both boys really do wear their hearts on their sleeve. Damo, let's go there, mate. Last year didn't quite get the gold in Birmingham. Today, you've gone one step further, mate, and you're now world champion with that gold medal. How are you feeling?
I feel amazing, mate. Yeah, after last year's disappointment of losing the gold medal at the Com Games, but no, this one, Jimmy, he didn't have to do much for 5 games, but he definitely did it in the 6 games, so that's all that matters.
Well done, Jimmy, mate. You played some big ones when it really mattered. How much experience did you draw on in previous games, being out here at the biggest level, and how much does it really mean to you today to have that little break in international bowls and come back and win a gold?
It's everything, mate. We 6 years ago it's high, and I hadn't had the world goal. I hadn't had that big one that many of us others have, and it's finished off with Damo like that. Have a game like that where I had to do it over the pump. I couldn't be happier and do it Damien, and what a support, support we've had here and obviously away the whole week and beyond before that, of course, but the amount of support we've had is very young boys.
And you played the big ones when it mattered. There was quite a few times there where there wasn't really a target on to offer, but you backed your draw in and you backed your drive. Was that a real part of your game going into this match that you focused on?
We certainly like this time of year that was going to be the difference, and we in my training and the coach have really pushed those areas, and luckily the training came off.
Well done, world champions. Congratulations, guys. Go and celebrate. Australia, another gold.
Yeah, well done, Barry. Watch this, because the entire Australian team are ready to swamp these two gentlemen, Damien Delgado and his teammate Jimmy Reynolds. Both of them brilliant today. They snatched it on the final end, trailing by a shot. They've beaten South Africa, the South African pair of Deon Vyver and Gareth Rees-Gibbs, 10-9 in the most gripping of finals.
What an amazing game of bowls. You know, there's only the second multiple that scored for the whole match. We only saw 2 multiples for each team. Everything else was ones. What an amazing victory. Incredible.
Doesn't finish there as the celebrations just start for this Aussie team. It's yet another gold medal, our 3rd gold medal. So far, we've got another weekend of finals to come, but we've got a big final coming up very, very shortly. It's the women's singles final. It's one of the blue ribbon events of this competition, isn't it?
It certainly is, and we're 2 wonderful competitors. It's going to be Canada and New Zealand to go for gold in the women's singles.
But for the moment, as we head to a break, you're watching team celebrations for the Jackaroos. Yet another gold medal, this time in the men's para pairs. It's been a wonderful start to the second day of finals here at the World Bowls Championships on the Gold Coast.
Well done, mate. Well done, Dave.
It's going to take a little bit of time to clear this screen, because this is what it's all about, family and friends and having them close. And that's the advantage, I suppose, of having a home World Championships, because all of their loved ones are here to enjoy this moment.
Yeah, just a sea of yellow out on the green there was, Pat. All the players, all the officials, all the people that have been on the journey with the athletes out there on the green, swamping them, and there was tears flying everywhere.
So many drink-wise moments of the match. I'll leave it up to you to try and pick one.
Yeah, well, early on, I guess, it was Jimmy Reynolds with some of his weighted shots. He was just spot on. He did draw a lovely few shots, but there was a few big shots when it really mattered, especially to no big targets. As we see that last bowl of Jimmy's there on the last end, that put him 1 in front. They held on from there to get the win. And Deon, the lead, well, he was really rock solid early. He was really testing Damo, but Jimmy, he came up with some big ones when it mattered.
Right at Home, of course, sponsor the team, sponsor the Jackaroos. They've also got our analyser. So, again, I'll leave this to the expert, to someone who's played 250 odd international matches for Australia.
Yeah, thanks very much, Pat. No, right at home, analyser. We've got Jimmy once again on the backhand, coming down, playing a beautiful deft draw, just sliding in there onto the side of the jack. Great touch from Jimmy. Green speed, 16 seconds, so touch play and a fist pump and a wave to the crowd. Damo's really happy there. That's what it's all about. Excitement of plenty out there between these two players. And as we see there, the Jackaroos cheering from the background as well.
And look who we found. One of our greatest, Aaron Sheriff, already a gold medalist here. Congratulations on the heroics of yesterday. But isn't this great?
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. I think that was the game of the event so far. You know, the heads were tight. It was absolutely spectacular. So, you know, really proud of the boys. You know, they're a huge part of our team and they're an inspiration to our team. So to see them come away with a gold medal is amazing.
And please welcome back out onto the clubhouse greens here at Club Helensvale for the 2023 World Bowls Championships Para Men's Pairs Bronze, Silver and Gold medalists. Australia Hong Kong, China, Puk Chi Yung and Wong King Kwong. Singapore, Morjit Siso Gourmet and Kerman bin Mohammed. Please, another round of applause for our bronze medal winners. And now our silver medal winners from South Africa, Deon van der Vyver and Gareth Rees-Gibbs. And now, the 2023 Para Men's Pairs World Champions and Gold Medalists. Please congratulate Australia, Damien Delgado and James Reynolds. If you are able, please be upstanding for the playing of the national anthem of our gold medal winning pairs in the para discipline, Australia.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Para Men's Pairs players. You may now exit the rink. Please give another round of applause for our Para Men's Pairs medalists.
Away there, we're just about to come to Jimmy Reynolds. This, in a storied career that has gone on for 30 years, this is his greatest moment, no doubt for you.
Yeah, for sure. And, well, when we said 21 years between Commonwealth Games in Manchester to here, you think about all the different life tracks he's been down in terms of employment, starting families, new relationships, you know, juggling all that to put in the time and effort to come back 21 years later and be on the biggest stage possible. And to play that good, Pat, like he just turned it on, didn't he? For me, he's almost the player of the tournament so far in terms of what he was able to produce today and really claw away some of those big shots and win it for his country.